Hello and welcome to another Modern Toy Fair Top 10. Today I'm going to go over the top 10 NECA TMNT figures of 2022. That's right, I am Mr. Modern Toy Fair, and I'm going over my personal top 10 NECA TMNT figures of 2022. TMNT had a huge year last year across multiple brands, especially NECA. Before we get started, make sure, though, go to the comments below and let me know your top 10 Ninja Turtle figures of 2022. Number 10 is the Secret of the Ooze 4-pack. This one kind of just got snuck in solely because of what it is. I mean, you get all four turtles from the second movie, a ton of accessories that are really cool and really emphasize that it's from Secret of the Ooze, and that's why it made it. Because let's be honest, out of the two designs, the original movie turtles look better than the Secret of the Ooze turtles. Just I don't know what it is about the puppets in the second movie; they just look a little off, but it was it was fun. It was a fun movie. I know a lot of people don't like it. I know Nate absolutely hates it, and that's fine because I enjoyed it. I was also a child when I watched it, so there's that. Coming in at number 9 though is a cartoon set of figures that I'm not gonna lie, I forgot these characters were even in the cartoon. And that's probably because it was like an episode, if that. And that was Toca and Razzle, the 2-pack that came out here towards the end of the year. Or I guess more fall summer. But this, I don't know what it is, but I love the colors they used for these two in the cartoon. And I also really, really like the accessories these came with. Now, Toka does seem to be on the same body as Slash, which I really like the Slash figure. So that may also be a reason why I like this set so much. And Razar, I mean, he's cool. I've always been more of a Toka fan than a Razzle fan, but it's a 2-pack. They come together. They're BFFs forever, so they gotta share the number 9 spot. Coming in at number 8, though, this is gonna be one that is kind of dumb for the reason why it's on the list, and that is the Smash and Zack cartoon 2-pack. So this one, I'm not gonna lie, it's only on the list because someone made the joke that it's a toy collector as a kid, and then once they grew up and they're in their 30s, and I can't unsee it, and it made this 2-pack 1,000 times better in my opinion. Because at first I was like, oh, that's cool, yeah, I don't need it, but then someone made that joke, and I'm like, I love it, it's fantastic. It really does emphasize that, one's a child turtle collector, and then the other one's him in 20 something years when he's in his 30s. It's great, and it made me love this 2-pack, which is a stupid reason, but it made it to my number 8 spot. Moving on to number 7, though, we're going to get us some of that comic goodness. If you're a fan of the channel, you know I love the comic turtles. So this is one I didn't need at first. I was really against getting it because I was like, oh, I'm not a big fan of the character to begin with, and especially in the comics, or at least in the Mirage comics. But then I saw it in person, and oh my god, the accessories, it's so good. And that's the Mirage Casey Jones. It just looks so good. And I probably never used the unmasked head, but I also love the little like dangling mask that you have. So if you want it, hanging up in a room somewhere in the sewer layer, what have you, you have tons of options. Plus he comes, with the bats and the hockey sticks and everything. So it's a great figure, and it's another one where I was like, I don't need it, and then I suddenly needed it once I saw it, which has been the case with me of Turtles in 2022, because I kind of cooled off on the NECA lines because I got kind of tired of all the stress of it. It wasn't fun anymore because everything was either wait forever for something or panic and try to find it in store because it's super hard to find and everyone wants them. Moving on, though, to number 6 is even more comic turtles, and this one, I just love everything about it. It is the robot Krang from the Mirage comics. Like, the cell shading, the colors, the blues and the silverish grays, and then, of course, Krang being in the stomach. It's such a beautiful figure. I'm so happy that this made it in the line. I'm glad that they aren't just instantly jumping into like main characters now that they've revived this line. So that way we can get some of these other characters a little sooner rather than later. And Krang is so amazing. I'm so happy that he came out. He may, I don't want to say he's my favorite one in that line so far, just because obviously he didn't rank very high on the list, but he's definitely up there. Moving on to number 5 is another one that's really high up there for me in the Mirage line, and that's Fugitoid. This one I was kind of against at first because it was a part, like, they said, oh, the comic turtles are going to be exclusive to mom and pop shops and e-retailers. And then he showed up at Target as an exclusive for a con, and I was kind of petty about it. And I was like, well, I don't want him out of principle because that's bullshit. You're hurting these small businesses so that way you can feed some stupid con that isn't properly done by Target. And then eventually he did hit shelves everywhere else, but it still kind of pissed me off a bit. Like, it just seemed real shitty to be like, this is going to be for, replacing the arcade line. It's going to go into your local comic book shops, into your e-retailers, helping the smaller businesses and getting things away from Target and Walmart where it's miserable because they don't stock things properly. They don't have any organization. They don't distribute them properly. So it kind of annoyed me that they put it in this convention like Target Con thing. It was dumb. And I when it eventually came out everywhere else, I couldn't resist because it is a beautiful figure. Like, again, with the shading, the artwork of it, and not to mention, like, I forgot to mention with the other two, the box art is so cool on these. Like, way better than back in the clamshell days when the first Mirage Turtles came out. So, hats off to NECA. They really are killing it with these turtles lately. Moving on to number 4, though, this one goes to a new line that's a little more of like an original thought by NECA. I started off kind of interested because I loved the Universal Monster Turtles as a kid, but then when I saw like what they were doing, I was like, eh. But this one's really cool, and that's the Mummy Mikey. I just the way he looks with like the wraps and everything. I know a lot of people love this because of the head that is reminiscent of that terrifying decaying puppet that's in a warehouse somewhere. But for me, I just loved the look of him in general as the Mummy. I liked Raph. He wasn't perfect in my opinion, but I liked him. I felt like he was a little too gimmicky with trying to, be too Ninja Turtle-y versus monstery, where I feel like this one had a lot more of an even 50-50 split. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like Leo at all. I think the Hunchback character was a poor choice. I don't like it. It's a cool execution where you can store stuff in his back and stuff like that, but I don't like the Hunchback. I don't like the design. It just didn't do it for me. So if you liked it, good. At least someone's buying it. I'm hoping that they do another set of 4 turtles with different characters. That way, maybe I can get a different Leo, and then I can have a full set of 4 turtles as monsters that I like. But for now, Leo is never going to be a buy for me. Moving on to number 3. We are blowing through this list. Number 3 is going to take us back to the cartoon line. This is a character that, I'm not going to lie, don't have a whole lot of connection to, but he's really cool, and that is Usagi. So everyone freaked out when they announced they were doing this figure, and I get it. He's cool. He's a samurai rabbit. Why wouldn't you want that? Me personally, I remember him from the show, but I didn't there was never a point where I was really, really like, oh my god, I love this character. I actually completely forgot he existed until people would talk about him, start begging NECA to make him, because I was like, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot about him. And maybe it's because technically he wasn't a turtle property. I don't know. But this figure's incredible. The amount of accessories it came with, the fact that you can swap out his ears, so you can have him laying down or up or whatever. It's depending on how you want the hat to be on there. If you want this, if I was into the character, this would have been number 1. I'm not gonna lie. That's why he's at my number 3 spot, is because I'm so impressed with the figure, despite the fact that I have no major investment in the character like a lot of people do. So hats off. This was one of their best figures of the year, hands down. Like, this is what NECA should do regularly. Just pack it with accessories, make it look incredible, make it have options for displayability and for posability, and really just knock it out of the park, like only NECA can do sometimes. Moving on to number 2, though, this one is probably I mentioned him earlier on, so I'm just gonna get right into it. It's the comic book TMNT Adventures Slash, and I don't remember ever reading the Archie comics. I'm not gonna lie, but something about this design, it's everything I feel like Slash should be. Like, to me, Slash is the big, beefy, angry turtle, and that's what this is. And he's just so beefy, and the blades on his wrists look so cool, and his weapons and the art style with like the little sketch lines everywhere. Oh man, I love it. It looks so good. I love the greens they used. It's amazing figure, and I'm so happy that he was the first one to come out, because as soon as they revealed him, I was like, I need this. I love Slash, and I loved this design. So I can't wait for them to do more from that, because the Mutanimals look cool. I think the only one that has to be tempted is probably Ray Fillet. Well, I don't know what he's called in the books. I don't think it's Ray Fillet. I think he's Mana Ray. I don't know. But he's the only one who's going to be tempted. I don't need the other two. And then, of course, obviously, I hope they do the Turtles eventually, because I know the Turtles are very different in that story than they are in the Mirage books. So I'm curious to see what they do with that as well. But that brings us to number 1. My number 1 pick, I feel like, is probably a lot of people's number 1. Hell, I'll be honest with you. You need to go watch our top 10 figures of 2022, because he made that list too. He is my number 1 turtle pick, and that is The Last Ronin. I love this story, and NECA nailed it. This figure looks like he jumped right out of the pages. The sculpting's great. The way they did the textures to make it look like his coat and his armor are all different pieces. The accessories are amazing. The head sculpt's great. Only thing that could make this figure better is if we get more. Like, I know they've announced other Turtles and Splinter and the android foot soldiers, but I need this to go as deep as the cartoon line. Just give me everything. Give me multiple versions of the Turtles. Give me, I don't care. I need it all. So there you have it. That is my top 10 NECA TMNT figures of 2022. Let me know in the comments below what your top 10 NECA figures of 2022 were. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Helps us out here at the channel, and also gets you a bunch of toy-related content on your feed. We've got the reviews on Mondays, Let's Poses on Tuesdays, we do a live stream on Wednesdays, and we have the podcast on Fridays. So make sure to check all of that out as well. Also, check us out Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Modern Toy Fair. But that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully see you next week. Same toy time, same Toy Fair channel. Thank you for watching.